If you want to do what I did, and that's improve your female speaking voice, you can even get one-on-one consults with Andrea via online video conferencing. Go to genderlife.com/consult to check for availability, or just get your own copy for uninterrupted offline viewing at genderlife.com.
Okay, this next one is a real toughie, and that's speaking in a place where it's difficult to hear you. Maybe it's a loud bar, or maybe it's a loud workplace. What's going to happen with your voice is the breathiness is going to drop out, and it's going to become more pinched. So if you're trying to talk really loud, see how it starts to get pinched? What you want to try to do is get so that you're not doing that as much. And the main things you can do is make sure that you're supporting your breath by a big, long breath, shoulders back. Work on your resonance, that your mouth is open. Those two things alone will increase your resonance greatly. The other thing that you want to do is keep your throat relaxed, and that's easier said than done. Try not to yell across a room. Try to lean into people and tell them things. But you just have to keep practicing, because what happens is those muscles will get stronger if you do some exercises where you're using a louder voice. The first one I want you to try is setting up your tape recorder across the room, and then turning it on and going back and then sort of yelling across the room as if you're trying to get someone to come to you. And try it at different volumes and see if your voice character is changing, and if it sounds different in any way, if it's getting too pinched, or if it's difficult to hear on the tape. The next thing I want you to do is actually take your tape recorder outside, set it up, across the yard, or take it to a park and set it up and, walk 20, 50 feet away and just yell and see how your voice carries. It's very difficult at first, and it's something that you'll have to work on, but it is important, especially if you're ever going to be giving speeches or, going to clubs a lot. You're going to need to work on that kind of voice. So in addition to your strength of your voice, you also want to work on your stamina. You want to see if you can talk for long periods of time without dropping out of your new voice. So what I want you to do for this is get on the phone with somebody who you can just talk forever with, a relative or friend, and every now and then just record yourself, like set a timer, and every 3 or 5 minutes just record a little bit of yourself. And don't listen to it then, but just listen to it after you get done with the phone conversation, and see if there's any difference from beginning to end in the way your voice sounds. What you want to be able to do is obviously keep it sounding the same all the way through. The next thing I want you to try is have someone over, have drinks or dinner or coffee or whatever, and just have a long conversation. But what I want you to do is have them record you without your knowing, just, little 10-second bits every 3 to 5 minutes. And after they leave, take a listen, see if there's anything unusual about your voice, or if it's dropping out at certain points in the evening. So what that'll do is just help you get it so that it feels consistent all the time, because it's a little disconcerting for people if you come into work and you have this great voice, but by the end of the day it's kind of strange sounding. So it just takes some time, but it is important. Okay, this last one is a real toughie, because it's kind of a involuntary thing. You have to be able to wake up and find your voice right away. Maybe there's somebody in bed with you, or maybe the phone rings. You want to be able to find your voice immediately, even if you're a little groggy. And that just takes some practice. So what I want you to do is have your tape recorder by the bed. When your alarm clock goes off, right off the bat, I want you to grab that and just say, this is the voice I want to use. And then just say a few other things. If you remember a dream, or if there's some other little comment about what's going through your mind, just record that and see how it sounds. It's really important that the very first thing that comes out of your mouth sounds female. So really concentrate on being able to hit that note just from memory, and you'll go a long ways. quickly, I just want to, now that we're done with our exercises, go through a couple of common questions that I get. One is, people ask me, my voice sounds so strange, when I'm talking, what's the problem? Am I doing something wrong? And the answer is yes, you are doing something wrong. You shouldn't be listening to yourself as you speak, because the voice that you hear sort of echoing around in your head is very different than what people are hearing away from you. So you want to just be talking by feel. That's why all these exercises have been about feel. The time to hear is when you've recorded it, because that's the only real gauge of hearing. Your ear is going to trick you if you're listening while you speak. So you got to get to where you're not conscious of how you sound when you're speaking. You're just feeling it like it's just a muscle memory kind of thing. Sometimes people ask me, they'll say, my friends all say I sound fine, but I'm still getting clocked all the time. What's going on? And unfortunately, sometimes well-meaning friends will say things to you to be encouraging or not to hurt your feelings that aren't really doing you any favors as far as getting your voice right. So even though your friends may mean well, the real trick is to find people who will either give you an honest opinion or learn to figure it out yourself from your tape recorder. That's the only way that you're going to improve. People telling you sound great, if you don't, isn't going to help you. So ask people to be honest and tell you what they think. Sometimes people ask, I'm already full-time, should I just start with this new voice? That seems really strange. And the answer is yes. I know it sounds hard and you might be a little nervous about doing it, but you have to kind of think of it like a foreign language. The only way that you're going to learn is, if you want to learn French, the best way to do it is just to go to France and just start trying to speak it. And you're going to mess things up every now and then, and that's fine. To be honest, attempt at a passing voice is better than a non-passing voice you're using now. The last question I get a lot is people will say, I've listened to your tape, I've done other things that I've read and heard, and I just seem to have some kind of mental block, what am I doing wrong? And if after doing these exercises you still feel like you're not getting it, what I would recommend is going and getting some professional speech therapy from somebody who's licensed. If you'd like, I'm also offering phone consultations. You can give me a call. There's pricing and stuff like that in the booklet I sent you. And either way, I think that there's a point where you really do need some one-on-one help if you're not getting it at this point. And that doesn't mean that you won't get it. It just means that it's going to take a little bit more effort. But I know you can do it, so let's go. Wow, here we are, the end of the tape. And I'm so glad that you listened all the way through, and I really hope that you'll go back and do these lessons over and over, because it's only through repetition and practice that this is going to come together. So get out there, record your voice, listen, really try to get a feel for it. It'll take a while, but I know you can do it. If there's anything you had questions about on this, or if you thought this was great, if you wish there were more information about certain things, let me know. It's the only way that I can improve these kind of projects. And I also wanted to let you know that if you'd like, I am available for phone consultations. And you can contact me through my website, tsroadmap.com, if you're interested in one-on-one tutoring. I just wanted to wish you best of luck. I hope this little roadmap has helped you on your journey, and I hope it takes you one step closer to even greater happiness. Bye now. I just want to say a quick thing about the appendices that are added to this with the keyboard. I've included these because what can be really helpful is to actually have your pitch recorded onto your microcassette recorder at the very beginning, like 5-10 seconds of your actual pitch, so that you have that always as a reference, so that you can just play it and then start recording immediately with your note in mind. Okay, I'm just going to play the A, that's average female range, just so you have this as a reference. This is A. Okay, the next one is middle C, and we're going to try to use that for our exercises. Okay, this appendix is going to help you find pitch, and I'm just going to play notes that are only in our female range. So I'm going to start, and I'll say the note, then I'll play the note, I'll pause for a minute, and then I'll go to the next one. And what you can do is actually record these onto your microcassette recorder as a reference guide. Ready? This is F. This is G. This is A. This is B. This is middle C. This is D. This is E. This is F. This is G. This is A. This is B. And this is C. So we're just going to do this a few times, so let's just take a sip and gargle along with me. Ready?